Storybox Audio. 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 Storybox Audio.
All right, we are on. Let me just write one more thing here, and we are on. Welcome. All right, got a smaller group today. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for coming. Those watching online, thank you for being there. And let's jump right into this. So welcome to the Choose the Change 90-day re-entry program. If you are a visitor or new to this program, we welcome you. And we are glad you're here. You know, many of us walked into these rooms not sure of what to expect. But many of us stayed because of what we saw. We saw real people with real problems who had real hope. This 90-day reentry program is a self-supporting group sponsored by the Choose the Change Foundation. There is no dues or fees for memberships, but we do encourage donations from our members and to anyone who believes in what we are doing. The only requirement, and there is a requirement, there's only one though, is a sincere desire to change. A sincere desire to change. So if you're ready to change your life, then you're in the right place. Through this program, you will learn the tools and the resources to finally change your life forever, and a relationship-based support system to keep you going. For many of us, there is no easy way out of the mess that we created in our lives, even if it wasn't your fault. But the good news is that there is a way out if you are willing to choose to believe in the impossible. So welcome again, guys, to the Choose a Change Mentoring Program. And let me turn off my phone. Let me make sure there we go. So, guys, I was thinking about, as always, I'm always thinking of something. That's just the way my mind works. But I'm always thinking of you. I'm always thinking of change and hope and moving forward and doing the right thing and doing whatever it takes. I'm always thinking about these things. And as I was thinking, because I see a lot of people struggling, as always, and I've had encounters with a couple of people that are struggling. And, everybody's trying to find their way through life. Everybody. Whether you're 15, 16-year-old and there's 30, 40, and 50 years old still trying to find their way. That's why it's so important to find direction in your life, find peace in life, find, come to terms with some things in your life. And this is what this class is all about, to help you with that. I tell people all the time, there's no one book or one church service or one mentor or one place that you're going to come and you're going to learn everything and then everything's going to be okay. It doesn't work that way. The life doesn't work that way. It's a process. Life is a process. And unless you get engaged in a process that works for you, you're always going to struggle in your life. You're always going to struggle. You have to stick to something. You have to keep moving forward in a positive direction. This is why I developed this process of change that I always teach in here. Because life change, success, overcoming in life is a process. Going to school, trying to achieve greater heights in life, in education, academia, in business, in finance, right? Starting your own business. There's so many things. You have to learn it. My son is 20 years old, Ozzy. He wants to do certain things in life and he has some dreams and aspirations. And I can tell him where to start. And you got to start here, son. You got to start learning something. You got to start here, because when we don't understand how to succeed in life, then we just see others succeeding. You wonder, how do they do it? What's the trick? What's the secret? There is no real secret. It just takes a lot of hard work and seeking and, and figuring it out. That's it. And so that's what we're here to do. Do the hard work, keep seeking, and this is where God comes in for us as Christians, because we do need God. And that's why I started this program, so that I can help men, especially those that are struggling. Where do we come from? Most of us in here, where do we come from? Prison, rehab, tragedy, divorce, selfish living, which is really the core of our problem. We're just very selfish people. And once you get a hold of that, you start making some better decisions. And you are the one that got you there. And you are the only one that can get you out. So, the 7 major keys are what you see up here. And I put them up here. I'm going to make a banner and just put them up there so I don't have to write them all the time. Y'all think that's a good idea? Put it over there, right? That's a good idea. Put them on that wall. I like it up here because everybody could see it. But anyway, I was thinking about that. So today, one of the major keys to life change, and here they are, desire starts with wanting to change your life. Desire, you've got to want to. That's where it starts. Then I believe you need your faith in God, faith in Jesus Christ. Your faith has to start developing your faith. Then, of course, the core of the life change, as I always say, is mindset. This is where it's all at. I just went through a whole series on that. Today, we're going to talk about attitude. which is what we need is an attitude adjustment. And the fourth key or the fifth key is habits. Your habits is what takes you, are either destroying you or making you, one of the two. Because your habits take you to a lifestyle, certain lifestyle. You know, I'm talking to a guy, I see so many people, and I look at their lifestyle. They want to change, they want something better. They're good people, but their lifestyle doesn't help them. Want to drink a little bit, maybe smoke a joint here and there. It's kind of lifestyle they want to have. They want to be lazy, want to just kick back. That lifestyle is not going to take you anywhere. And it doesn't matter that you're a good person. It doesn't matter that you're trying. It doesn't matter because your lifestyle, again, that's just part of the deal. And of course, all this is important because all this takes you to your results. Your results in life, where we are now. Because results is the name of the game. It doesn't matter what you think, what you believe, who you are, where you come from. All you got to do is look in the mirror and ask yourself, how did I get here? Those are your results of your life. And many of us are working on them. We start digging our way out to a better future. All of us. And as I was, what I'm doing is I'm continually building on my life as Christians, as new people, as coming out of prison, wanting to be a better father, a better person, a better Christian. We're building. So this is what this class is all about. So today I want to talk about attitude, because what we need is an attitude adjustment. See if I can spell it right. Help me out. Did I get it right? Man, I'm learning. So let's talk about this. We're going to talk about attitude. Y'all ready? Let's do this. We've already learned that mindset or philosophy, or the way you think, is the heart of your life change journey. I already went through that. I'm going to go through that again, probably at the beginning of the year when we go through and start another cycle of this 90-day challenge. Because your mindset affects every area of your life: your faith, your attitude, your habits, your lifestyle, the mind, how you think, how you see things affects how your life is. And so attitude is one of those areas. Attitude is one of the areas in life that you must always keep in check. Your attitude. Who understands that? You have to keep it in check, man. Your attitude will get you in trouble. See or no? At work? At home? At play? Basketball? Attitude. It's been said that attitude is everything. I don't know if it's everything, but here's what I do know: attitude is a game. I forgot what I was going to say there. Attitude is a deal breaker. There you go, man. Thank you, brother. Attitude is a deal breaker in a lot of areas in life. Very simply put, having a good attitude can take you a long way in life. Would you agree to that? Having a bad attitude can stop you dead in your tracks. Period. It'll stop you dead in your tracks. At your job, I mean, nobody likes someone with a bad attitude. And that's why your attitude is so important. It's been said also that a bad attitude is like a flat tire. Right? You've heard this here? You ain't going anywhere if you don't change it. Attitude. So let's talk about attitude. What is attitude? I will go ahead and erase this so I don't get nobody confused. What is attitude? Anybody want to tell me? Attitude. I mean, we kind of think we know, right? But what is attitude? What? Right? That's a good question, right? Let's start with what Google says about it. So you can start understanding what I'm trying to tell you here. Attitude is a settled way of thinking or feeling. Attitude is a spirit. It's a feeling. It's a set way of seeing things. Your mindset or your philosophy is what you believe. Attitude is how you feel about what you believe. You should think about that for a minute. Mindset, what you have in your mind, how you think, is what you believe. Attitude is how you feel about what you believe. So let me give you an example. If you say, if your mindset is God can't help me, how do you think that's going to make you feel? Hopeless. Worthless. I can't change. If all you hear in your life is you're just a loser, you'll never make it. What kind of attitude is it going to give you? That's what I'm talking about. So what you believe is really important. But let's go on. So attitude is a settled way of thinking. In other words, you're setting your mind. People that say, well, that's just the way I am. I just speak my mind. Well, that's why nobody likes you. Anyway, it's about thinking or feeling about someone, could be yourself, or something. Typically one that is reflected. Listen to this. Here's the end of this definition. Let me read it all again. Attitude is a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something. It typically is reflected in the person's behavior. People can see it. You have a bad attitude. You have a bad attitude, right? Or you're talking to a coworker. He has a bad attitude. So what I want to help you tonight with is learning to develop a can-do attitude. Learning to develop a can-do attitude. Why is that important? Because of how many of you may be feeling today. You're tired. You're tired of dealing with your life, your situation. You're looking at, sometimes you feel like, man, things are never going to change. I can never change. When is this going to be over? Regret, your relationships, just so many things that we have to carry. That's why I tell people all the time, there's no easy way out. There's no easy way out. You have to come to terms with that. Because if you don't come to terms with that, then you're going to give up. And the way you don't give up is you develop a can-do attitude. You have to shake yourself off and keep going. You got to keep going. There's a story in the Bible. Let me give you the scripture. Numbers 24. Numbers 14:24 is a story of Caleb and Jacob. What's interesting is, check this out. Because I know that, again, everybody that comes in here are struggling. Many people are struggling in different levels, different areas. So in this story is the story of the children of Israel. The Bible tells the story how God saved his people from slavery. That's a picture of God saving us from our sin, forgiving us. That's a picture of that. And what he did is he took them out of slavery. He saved them through Moses. Okay. And what God told the people was that I'm going to give you a promised land. In other words, I have a plan for you. There's something better for you. And he said, I'm going to take you out of slavery and I'm going to give you a promised land. Well, when it came to going to the promised land, it's kind of like when you came in here, you wanted to change your life and you're ready. And then you realize, wait a minute, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. You mean I have to work at it? You mean I have to come to church all the time? And that's how the children of Israel were, because God told them, here's what you're going to have to do. You have to go through here and you're going to have to go conquer the land. I'm going to give it to you, but there's some work that you have to do. So what happened is God took him from slavery, let's say prison, let's say drug addiction, let's say sin. God takes you from there and he takes you here, sober. You're free from prison. You have now an opportunity to live again. But God says, but you're going to have to work at this. You can't. I got you out, but now you have to work at this. And so then what God did is that in those days, he told Moses to send 12 leaders of the children of Israel to go spy on the land. That's what he did. To go see if the land was good like God said it was. So Moses sent some people to go spy on the land. 12 leaders of each group of the children of Israel. They were there for 40 days. They came back, and only 2 of them came with a good report. 2 of them had the can-do attitude. They said, it's great. It's beautiful. We can do it. We can achieve. We can overcome. Yes, they're big. In fact, there's some giants in there. But look, there's a bunch of fruit. It's beautiful. There's a lot of great stuff there. And that's what I'm telling you when you come in here. Guys, you can go here. You can go to have success. You can make it. You're going to make it. You can overcome. You can be better. You can have more, become more. You can have a house. You can do it, but you have to work at it. So 2 of them came back with a good report, but 10 of them, the other 10, dijeron que no podía. They said, they can't be done. It's too hard. And they started telling the people, it's too hard. No, we can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Who's ever said that? I just can't do it anymore. Come on. Who's ever said that? I know the feeling because it's hard. And so what happened is that they never made it to the promised land. This is why I'm telling you guys, you got to get the reality of this. And the reason I'm telling you, some people say, man, why do you tell people that it's going to be really hard? Because it is. What am I going to tell you? This is going to be easy? That is, that it's all fun and games? No, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work to build your life. I didn't want nobody I wanted the truth when I was trying to change my life. Don't tell me just anything. Tell me the truth. And I loved it when some people would come in and just tell me the truth, man. And so then they never made it to the promised land. But check this out. Here's the reason I'm telling you this story. But Joshua and Caleb, brother, were the ones that said, yes, we can. Yeah, we can make it. They were young. They were still like 40 years old. That was young. I walked out of prison at 40. And I'm telling you a story because this is the kind of attitude I had. I developed it. That I can do it. I can make it. I can overcome. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. I didn't know if it was even possible for a loser like me to make it, but I had a can-do attitude. Caleb and Joshua had a can-do attitude. And the thing is, because of everybody else, it took them 40 years to finally get to the promised land. Todo por culpa de todos los demás. All because of everybody else. And that's what's going to happen to us sometimes. Because of your past, because of your family, because of your history, because of your lack of skill, because of your lack of whatever. Your spouse, your ex, your children. It's holding you back, but that's the mistakes you made. Or that's the consequences of the life you have. Those are the things that are holding you back from. That's why you want to give up. Because of some things in your life, the things we did, some things that, like for us that went to prison, for going to prison so many times, for being drug addicted for so many years, for having bad relations, these things hold you back. For never changing what you should have changed it when you were, in a relationship, right? For making the wrong decision. I mean, just so many things that now we look back and we realize, man, we messed up. And now we have to face the consequences. Those are the things that I'm telling you holding you back. So that we look at those things and we say we can't. And unless you have this can-do attitude, you're going to give up. And I want you to know, like I said, attitude is a spirit. It's a mindset. It's how you see things. And so it makes you feel like you can't. And so here's what you have to do. You have to psych yourself out and you have to say, yes, I can. Yes, I will. So then in the story in the Bible, here's what God said about Caleb. I want to read it to you. He said like this, then the Lord said, I have pardoned according to your word. But truly, as I have lived, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. Because all these men who have seen my glory and the signs which I did in Egypt, in the wilderness, and have put me to the test now, these 10 times, and have not heeded my voice. What he's saying is, I already did a lot of things for these people. God's already done a lot of things for you. He already got you out of prison. He already has you here. You're already in your right mind right now. You may be struggling, but you're in your right mind. That's what God is saying. I already helped them. And then he says, they certainly shall not see the land of which I swore to their fathers to give them, nor shall any of those who rejected me see it, except my servant Caleb. Listen to what he says. Because he has a different spirit in him. He has followed me fully. I will bring him into the land that I promised. Caleb had a can-do attitude. Because at the age of 85 years old, when he was finally at the door of the promised land, and they were just ready to get in there. He was 85 years old. It was 40 years later. Caleb said, I was 40 years old when God promised that he was going to take me into this promised land, that he was going to make my life better, that he was going to give me a better life. I was 40 years old. And I was willing then, and now I'm 80. And I'm still as strong as I used to be, and I'm still willing to do whatever it takes to have a better life. I'm stepping into this promised land. So maybe you're not seeing everything you want to see right now, mija. Maybe it's really, really, really hard, man. I understand. But your can-do attitude is what's going to get you over the edge. So let's talk about what is a can-do attitude. What am I talking about? Well, the first thing I want you to understand is a choice. You have to make that choice. Not based on how you feel, but based on the fact that you can make it. You choose what you want to believe. That will dictate how you feel. Let me tell you what Tony Robbins says about attitude. Who's heard of Tony Robbins? Anybody? Well, let me tell you what he says about it. He says, learning an attitude is learning how to have a good positive attitude is something anybody can do. It's just a matter of changing your mindset. Changing what you believe. In our case, what does that mean? From saying I can't do it to saying what? I can't do it. From saying I'm just never going to make it to saying I'm never going to quit. That's it. That doesn't change the circumstances. It just changes your attitude. And it keeps you going. Jim Rohn, my favorite philosopher, said this about attitude. With the right attitude, human beings can move mountains. And it's true. Jesus Christ taught us. God teaches us to have a good attitude, to believe for the impossible. That's an attitude. I believe. That's an attitude. God forgives me. That's an attitude. It's a belief. He says, but with the wrong attitude, they can be crushed by the smallest little grain of seed, of sand, should I say. Crushed. One little insult will crush you. Because of what somebody said. Eric Thomas, listen to this one. I really like this one. Here's what he said about attitude. Listen closely. He said, I'm not minimizing your problems. I understand you're going through problems, he says. I understand what you've been through. I understand you've made mistakes. I understand you've fallen. But listen to what he says. But what I'm saying is this. If life knocked you down, let's say a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if life knocked you down and you're still on the ground, you have a problem. It happened so many years ago. You messed up, okay, but you're still wallowing in your self-pity? Let it go. That's what he's saying. Let's move on. There's something better. You're just going to have to trust me on this. Attitude determines how far you're going to go. Attitude is a deal breaker with employers who hire you, promotions. Attitude adjustment is what is a must for life change and success. Your attitude. If you want to stay out of prison, attitude is the key. If you want a better job, attitude is the key. If you want a promotion, attitude is the key. If you want more money, attitude is the key. Not the only key, but it's the key. Your attitude will make a big difference. Pessimism is an attitude. Who knows what pessimism means? You know what pessimism means, Mija? Do you know what pessimism means? Pessimism? Do you know what optimism means? No? Do you know? Okay. Do you know? You know. Okay. But listen closely. Remember, we're talking about a can-do attitude. Pessimism is an attitude. Here's what pessimism means. Having this kind of attitude. I can't. It will never work. In other words, you have negative attitude. I can't do it. I don't care. It's too hard. I'll never make it. That's a pessimist. Always thinks the negative. That's what pessimism is. You're always thinking the worst of people, the worst of yourself, the worst of the situation. You're a pessimist. So I have a joke. Want to hear it? And then I'll let you speak. I have a joke. So remember, a pessimist always thinks negative. Y'all got that? Got that? Got that? Okay, pessimist. So here's the joke. So a few pessimists got together and decided they're going to start a pessimist club. Okay? You come in here and start. So they went to Denny's and had a little meeting. Let's talk about it, what we're going to do, how we're going to start it. After the meeting, they came to the conclusion that they're not going to start the club. And you know why? Because they didn't think it was going to work. Remember? A pessimist always thinks negative. Okay, runner. That's my joke of the day. That's the best I can do. That's why I didn't become a comedian.
That was a good one. You know, just to add a little bit to that also, you have to be careful about pessimistic people because just as you said, a pessimist will say, I can't, it will never work. If you have those people in your midst, they'll also say, you can't, and it'll never work for you. So you have to be careful because that's a double-edged sword. Not if they say it for themselves, they'll say it for you. So you have to be really careful who you surround yourself with in life.
Oh, that's true. In other words, just because they didn't make it, or just because they don't think you can make it, they're going to say, "Well, I don't think you're not going to make it. It's too hard." Go ahead.
I read this article about Sylvester Stallone. Probably some of you have read it or seen it.
Yeah.
That he went to interview for an acting role and they didn't hire him. And then he decided like, well, nobody's gonna hire me, so let me write a script. And then they wanted to buy it off him, but they didn't want him to be an actor. So he decided to do the part as an actor, and he made the movie Rocky.
Rocky.
And
Yeah.
nobody believed in him, and now he's doesn't need nobody.
Yeah, that's right. No, and there's a lot of stories like this, guys. But what happens is that many of us read them and we say, "Wow, that's him. He was lucky." There's no luck here, guys. There's only the mercy of God and you. I always remind people of where I came from. I don't think people believe it sometimes. 13 years of prison, 10 years of putting needles in my arm, loser father, loser husband, loser drug addict. But I got here. I finally got there to desire. And as long as you're there, you might be climbing and then keep falling, but you got to keep going. There is breakthrough, but you need a can-do attitude. All successful people have can-do attitudes. So just to finish, the pessimist says, I can't. What would the optimist say? What would the optimist say? I can. Really, really simple. And I just make it simple because it's that simple. If the pessimist says, I can't, what does the optimist say? I can. The can-do attitude. Achievers have a can-do attitude. People going, if you're going to make it and you're going to overcome the problems you're having, you're going to have a can-do attitude. If you're going to make it sober, if you're going to make it and stay out of prison, if you're going to make it through the problems you're having, if you're going to make it, if you're going to overcome, if you're going to go to the top, or at least halfway there, you're going to have a can-do attitude. You have to be sold out. This is why surrender is so important. Sold out. Not just halfway in, sold out. To change, to success, to God. No matter the obstacles. And they are willing to put forth the effort and pay the price, because there is a price to success. There's a price. I got to admit, there's a price. So let me give you a few tips on developing a can-do attitude. Does anybody want to say anything here as we close? Anybody want to say anything here? I'm going to give us a few tips. I'm going to pass around the donation bucket. I brought my donation today. We always pass around a bucket for those of you that can. If you have a can-do attitude, you can help us out with $1 or $2 or $5 or $10 or whatever. If you can't, that's fine. Not today. That's right. That's okay. So Frank is going to pass it around. If you can't, that's fine. Oh, let me give you mine. Oh, man. I'm throwing it away. So let me give you a few attitudes, a few tips on developing a can-do attitude guide. You all ready? Does this helping you, anybody? Is this helping anybody? Yeah. So here you go. Give you a few tips. Number one, you need to disown your victimhood mentality. You hear this a lot. You have to disown your victimhood mentality. What do I mean by that? Stop being a victim. Can-do people aggressively pursue solutions. Stop. And in the process, they start uncovering creative solutions others will never find. And that's true. And that's what happened to me. Listen, think about this. I stopped being a victim. A victim means I used to think, I'm just a drug addict. They tell me I'm an addict and I'll never get better. I'm just too crazy. I'll never make it. Pobrecito me. And we all can get into that mood. It's easy, right? Right? Into that poor me attitude. That's what I'm talking about. That's what a victim mentality is. Having a poor me attitude. And not to minimize your problems. I know you have problems. Problems are there. But you have to decide that you're going to stop feeling sorry for yourself. Victim mentality. Rather than wallowing in your hopelessness, can-do people search and seek diligently to overcome these obstacles. I like the way he put it. Search and seeks. You're here. You're seeking. That's good. You're seeking for answers, for solutions. Number 2. You need to get rid of the blameless, the baggage, the blameless. Who knows about the blameless? The blameless is when you let me finish reading it. Can-do people don't blame others. You got to stop blaming the past. In other words, many of us have to take our past, and you're going to either take your past and use it as an excuse to fail, or you're going to use it as a reason to succeed. I learned that in prison. So think about this for a minute. I'm sitting in prison. You know, I know I'm going to get out at the age of 40. At this time, I went to prison when I was 18 years old. Think about this for a minute. I got out when I was 24. Became a drug addict from the age of 24 to the age of 34. Think about that, my whole youth. At the age of 34, I go back to prison again for robbing a store for one more hit of cocaine on my daughter's 4th birthday. And then I'm in prison from the age of 34 to the age of 40. So think about that for a minute. From 18 to 40, I'm either in drugs, a drug addict, or in prison. You're talking about, what is that? 20 years? About 20 years. And so I'm sitting in prison about at the age 35, 36, and I'm thinking I'm learning this stuff. Can-do attitude. In prison, loser drug addict. I'm thinking about starting my own business. I mean, you got to think about this for a minute. And I've never had my own business. I just read it in books that it could be done. That's it. I read a book called See You at the Top, which is where I got my phrase, I'm going to the top. I'm going to the top. And in this book, Zig Ziglar talks about all these men and people that succeeded from ashes, from nothing. We just saw it on November 5th. I'm not going to even go there. But I'm sitting in prison. And I'm learning this, what I'm teaching you. I'm learning it in prison. And wondering, I wonder if it works. Is it real? Can somebody really come out of this mess of life that I created and be successful? No, forget changing. I mean, forget success. Can I really change? Is it really possible? Vato loco forever? Is it possible? Much less success? I hear about success. It was very difficult for me to believe. That's why I tell people I forced myself. Brother. Forced myself to believe in something that I couldn't even feel or see or touch. I had a can-do attitude. I developed it. And you know what? It was harder than it's been harder than I ever expected. This is why I'm so passionate about trying to help you understand that if you're going to make it for the long haul, if you're going to overcome, if you're going to make it to the top, you're going to have a can-do attitude. I got out of prison at the age of 40 with this attitude. And guess what? I fell flat on my face 18 months later. I went back to using a story that I don't like telling. I relapsed. I don't like telling that story. And again, there I was again, flat on my face. No job, no money. Loser again. After everything I've done and seen, everything, there I was again. But I knew all this stuff in my mind. And I got up, dusted myself off, and I started seeking again. I stopped blaming people. I stopped blaming the system. I stopped blaming the judge. I stopped blaming my wife. I stopped blaming the situation. I got rid of my victimhood mentality. I got rid of the blame. Some people blame the weather. Some people blame the system. Some people blame the other car. Some people blame God. Yes or no? So get rid of your blame list. Here's, I like this one. He says, number 3, you need to enter into the no whining zone. In other words, that's the pity party. Attitude people abstain from complaining. Stop complaining. It's hard to do. It's hard to do, guys. The complaining is kind of like the blame list. You gotta get rid of it. And here I'll give you the fourth one, and there's more, but I'm just going to give you these 4. After all the work you're doing, after all the hard work and the coming to church and coming to choose the change, it takes years. It takes years. And there's a reason for that. But I want you to know that I want you to expect a return, a result for your commitment. That's the good news. It's the simple and the amazing law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow. That's just how life works. You reap what you sow. In other words, there's what's the word? There's a return. There's a blessing. There is a promised land. You can make it. You will make it. The Bible teaches us this. I need to use this scripture. If you faint not, you will reach your goals. You may not get everything you want. You may not reach everything you aim for. But you will reach a good result, a good harvest, a better life. Does anybody have any questions here? So, we'll close. Any comments? And then I have one more quote, and then we'll just leave it at that.
I remember I had that, and to this day, it's the kind of faint where I think like, well, am I just like that, or like it's just kind of like me moving forward and just letting it go, because it's kind of like you don't really realize it until you're already like at that process. You're saying that you gotta force yourself.
You gotta force yourself, yeah.
Because I come from a family que le gusta tomar on the weekends, and then they like to my uncle was a drug dealer and stuff like that, and so I didn't know anything else. But now that I'm in this path, I know that if I don't force myself, and I'm trying to do what God wants me to do, because I hunger to feel God in my life, and that's the only way that I know that I have to continue pushing forward. And to some people, you gotta want to have that change,
Desire.
That desire to fully be committed into wanting God. If not, then it's kind of like it's choice.
It's a choice, yeah. Anybody else?
I like what you're saying, and you're right that sometimes it seems that you didn't get there, but in the long run, if you just keep on having that good attitude and honoring God, His ways are even better than when you expected.
Yes.
And I've seen that pattern over and over. And so I'm just very thankful that you're sharing that.
No, and the thing is, and I can tell you, listen, things have not gone perfect for me and my wife. I walked out of prison at 40 years old. That's been 21 years. Okay. My daughters were still young. Me and my wife had to get to know each other again. I took the good that I had. I didn't have nothing. Didn't have a house. Didn't have money. Didn't have nothing. But I had my family. I had Jesus in my heart, and I had a dream. That's what I had. And I took that. And listen, in the last 21 years, it's not been easy for me and my wife. It hasn't. In fact, I didn't accomplish not even half of what I hoped I would. In fact, I lost things. Lost my father, lost friends, death in the family, my uncle. I mean, just a lot of things. But then one day, I looked back and I looked at a picture of my family. My daughters, married to pastors, doing the will of God, healthy. I mean, I have a lot of great things in my life. And then finally, you get older. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what. Then you come to realize, you know what? Life isn't about how much money I have, how big of a house I have. It's not. It's just not. Life is about loving my family, loving my kids. That's it. Having good health. That's huge. I didn't know that. I used to hear that when I was younger. No, I'm just thankful for my health. And I'd say, like, what? What are you talking about? Well, yeah, I was 20 and 30 years old. No problems in the world. But then I got older and started having health problems. I'm 61. I'm healthy. I'm grateful. That's why I was sharing with you, brother, about I'm glad that I make that choice to humble myself and say I surrender. God, help me. I understand I need help. And then when I look at what I didn't accomplish, but then I see what God accomplished. I say, wow, it is worth it. Everything I'm telling you is true. I'm telling you. And that's why God is so important in this mix. So let me read you the scripture. Galatians 6:9. It says like this. Let us not grow weary in well doing. Let us not grow weary in well doing, for in due season you will reap if you faint not. That's how it works, guys. Galatians. In fact, I'm going to copy and paste it right here in my notes. If you faint not, you will reap. I like it. Paste. Yeah? We have to. What is it? Galatians? What did I say? Galatians 6, what? 9. There you go. And then the quote I was gonna say was this one. Passionate commitment is contagious. And resources follow resolve. I like that. Resources follow resolve. You know what resolve means? That means I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to quit. until. Resolve. In other words, it's an attitude. You're resolved to make it, period. That's all I have today. Thank you for coming, guys. We'll see you